concussion coming off that thing standing right here.
This gun looks like it can be purchased at your local dollar store.
There it is.
Wait, no.
Where'd it go?
Where did it? Where is it? Where is it?
Oh, there it is. This is the ARMI Tanfoglio 25 ACP, man.
The ARMI what?
Tanfoglio. Yeah, I didn't make that up. There it is, 25 ACP.
And there's my pinky.
When talking 25 ACP, intimidating is about the last word that comes to mind. This little guy is as small as you can get in a centerfire cartridge. And I mean that literally. When it was being designed, John Browning couldn't physically jam a primer pocket into anything smaller than that. But in the end, he did accomplish his goal. He created a reliable alternative to the ubiquitous 22 long rifle. What's more, this 25 ACP was specifically designed for short barrels. If you use 22 LR out of a little pistol, it spews unburnt powder and neuters an already gutless round. But the 25 ACP is like a fish to water in a gun like this right here. The slightly larger caliber over the 22 and the case design of the 25 allows it to muster the most out of an unfavorable barrel length. Yeah, so it definitely does what it was designed to do, but it still looks like it's something you'd use to teach your 8-year-old to shoot. Certainly not a serious self-defense option. But is there more to it than meets the eye? Well, for one, these 25 ACP pistols are microscopic in size, and that compact form is what grants an otherwise laughable system of practical purpose. Now, I've reviewed small handguns in the past, but certainly nothing to this scale. 380 ACP is about as small as I've ever carried, until now. But is a 25 ACP even worth the extra weight in your pocket? Surely your fist is just as effective. All I can say is that if the dead could talk, there would be a fair number of 25 ACP respecters. You don't hear about this caliber often these days. It's fallen out of favor in recent times. But in the 70s and 80s, it was a regular caliber and a relatively common occurrence to hear of a death involving the 25 ACP. I'm by no means promoting it as a go-to man-stopping hand cannon, but it can summon the Grim Reaper. Now the 25 ACP clearly isn't going to be your knockdown, drag out, go to war weapon. It doesn't hit with a whole lot of force, as you'll see when we shoot the plate rack here. I don't even know if you can tell that it's hitting the steel, but it is. I mean, it slightly rocks it. You can hear it a little bit, but it's definitely not as pronounced. Though the conundrum remains, can it stop an attack before it's too late? I say that comes down to the person holding the gun. The shooter's capabilities and shot placement will be critical. And if I was personally forced to use this gun to save a life, it would only be at relatively close proximities, where it could certainly do the job. With a center mass shot, you could find yourself in a dogfight as the attacker might have minutes or even hours before death sets in, if it happens at all. Yet one or two straight to the cranium, and it's game over. So ultimately, I'm not going to decide for you whether the 25 ACP is a worthy companion, but I feel like it's far better than an empty pocket and a dirty look. In fact, for many people, the sight of any firearm is more than enough to make them think twice about any nefarious actions. But if you're facing someone brave or brainless and they don't turn tail, don't think the 25 ACP is incapable of saving a life. To drive home the point, there was an awesome article I came across on the web. Open up your browser and Google on the 25 ACP and stopping power. There's a little blog there called The Smallest Minority. It's a little bit frightening, but very entertaining and intriguing read. The guy tells a story about a time when he was attacked by what he called a ninja sword wielding lunatic. And despite some serious bodily injury requiring 10 days in the hospital, 3 of those in intensive care, he made it out alive, while the attacking madman, he ended up in the morgue. The good guy survived, and all because of this little 25 ACP backup piece. You come across a gun every once in a while that just makes you laugh, like a mocking, smirking laugh. And this little pistol in my hand right here, this is definitely one of those guns. Sometimes it's because they're stupid, maybe they're impractical, just outrageous. In this case, this thing's just plain tiny. So tiny that it's laughable. This is the ARMI Tanfoglio, tiny little Italian gun, and it's pretty fun to shoot, not gonna lie. One of the biggest downfalls of the Tanfoglio is the magazine release. It takes quite a bit of finagling just to get that thing to pop loose. With a little bit of practice, you're still gonna be slow. But you can at least make it manageable so that you don't feel like you're an arthritic, Parkinson-riddled 90-year-old. The mag release isn't as bad when the mags are full, but when they're empty, they really don't want to come out. When you have gloves on especially, it can be hard to get hold of that little lip there if it doesn't come out far enough. On insertion, you have to make sure that you push the mag release back with the magazine. You can't press straight in. So just a little bit more of a hassle. Here comes the hail coming down pretty hard right now. Besides that, it's really a great little pistol. It just shoots. It couldn't be more simple. And that simplicity is a major player in making this thing reliable. I haven't had any issues yet. Granted, I'm only a couple hundred rounds into it due to the cost of 25 ACP, which is up there on par with 45 ACP and other large calibers. It's a joke. But besides that simplicity, I really do feel like that centerfire cartridge helps aid that reliability. You don't have to deal with some of the feeding issues with the rimmed cartridge, and a centerfire primer is just inherently more reliable for most ammunition. And yes, I understand 22 long rifle fans, there is some excellent ammunition out there that is very reliable in that caliber. I'm just talking about the average big picture. But as I stated earlier, the 25 ACP is more suited out of a little gun like this. You get closer to the 22 long rifle like ballistics out of a really short barrel. When it comes to your choice of ammunition for self-defense, again, you're packing an underpowered cartridge. When that's the case, I'm a proponent of maxing out the penetration. Yeah, that's what she said. All right, I got 2 red soda cans set up right there. We'll go ahead and knock them down with the Tanfoglio. All right. I decided to shoot the second one with hollow points. And yeah, it made a big difference. Yeah, hollow points, they definitely carve out a nice little cavity in tissue and fluid, but that's not going to get you anywhere if you can't get through bone or even thick clothing. For that reason, FMJs usually are my choice in 25 ACP. Though if I'm feeling a little adventurous, I might just mix a few of each in a magazine for versatility and honestly kicks and giggles. Overall, aesthetically, it's nothing special. It's a fine little gun. I did mix it up a little bit, threw some Duracoat on there, and now it suits my taste a little bit more. You'll notice X-Cam etched into the gun here. They were the importer prior to '68. I don't know if they had frames made here afterwards, but some importers did. Either way, you're going to see that name on the gun. In the end, I do feel comfortable with my little buddy here in my front pocket. It's a good choice when other options are a bit too large. Yes, I know it's definitely not a 600 nitro, but if you're ever unfortunate enough to be shot with one, you're not going to be analyzing the ballistics. You just might be dead. I've got my fingers crossed that in the future the 25 ACP will see a bit of a revival. It would be great to see the ammunition prices come down and to see a little more innovation and new options available in the caliber. Until then, if you come across one of these little gems, I'd give it a serious consideration. It's cheap, at least when we're talking about the gun that is. It's concealable and reliable. Okay, here we go. This is how they shoot it in Italy. That's where it's from.
I think your legs are too far apart. Way too far apart now. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Now we're gonna go operator style.
Operator.
Check. Press check.
Press check.
Good go.
Scan it. Search it SS. What are we looking for, bro? I don't know.
Low, center. Low. Maybe shoot a little bit higher.